do a good job. I'm okay. I'm okay. What's up, everybody? Hey there.
Oh, that's not how you usually do the introduction.
Oh, you're right. Hello and
Hi.
welcome. Hold on. I have to see if this works. Here we go. Great. Hello and welcome to episode 104. Oh, I see what you're talking about now. 145 of the Game Brew podcast. The bi-weekly video game podcast where we sip delicious bevs, discuss video games, and take lavish vacations to towns run by mice.
Some of us do that.
Some of us do that. I'm Dan.
I'm Chris.
Hi. And in this episode of the Game Brew podcast, we asked the question, have you ever been half through a game and we're just like, oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Often.
I'm good.
Often.
But first, it is time for the bevs. Chris, what are you drinking?
Beer.
Beer.
Yep. What are you drinking? I'm drinking. So this beer is called Invisible Pink Unicorn. It's from Checker Spot Brewery in Baltimore, Maryland. So they're actually a really cool spot because they are right under the overpass next to Ravens Stadium. So like when I go to games like Ravens games, I like to go there beforehand.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's really cool. It's
I like that.
But yeah, they make a good beer.
That's that used to be what the brewery by me whenever my parents still lived by it, Levante. That used to be like, it was right by West. It'd be like, hey, we're going to do anything, let's go to Levante beforehand, get a beer.
Nice.
You know,
That's awesome.
and that was great. So cool. But what's the beer again? It's
So it's Invisible Pink Unicorn.
Ooh.
It's a NEPA brewed with an unbelievable amount of El Dorado, Azacca, and Equinaut hops.
Okay.
It's like almost got like a
Generic Cheez-It is following us. Thank you, Generic Cheez-It.
Thank you, Generic Cheez-It. It's got almost like a peaty flavor to it. I know that it's not, but like you know, in Scotch, like that. Kind of
yeah, where it tastes like the ground. Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, it has a little bit of that ground flavor in it, which is kind of interesting. It's some people are into that.
I do enjoy a nice ground flavor whenever I'm because I like Scotch and I like bourbon and whiskeys, and those are really fun because they taste like the ground, and I like that. A good one tastes like the ground, the right kind of ground.
You don't just get it from the ground.
You don't just get it from the ground, but it's it's also in this.
Yeah, but it's got some of that flavor to it. It's a hazy IPA, New England style, so you can kind of see that in the coloration there.
Yeah, it's
for those of us that are
hazy.
Listening to this and not watching this. I raised my glass, and you could tell that it's very.
You
hazy.
could tell it was very hazy. Yes, it was hazy. I am. Well, what's the chuggability rating? We always got to make sure we do that.
Surprisingly chuggable for an IPA.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a NEPA. NEPAs tend to be a little bit chuggable, which NEPA stands for New England style IPA.
Yeah, and they tend to be kind of hazy and
juicy,
citrusy,
delicious,
good, especially in the summer.
Just
good chuggability. Delicious. I'd give it a good 3 to 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, 3.5 out of 5. That's not bad. That's a little bit over the median range.
Right.
So I was
Are you drinking?
So we were in. We went to Disney World. The whole clan went down to Disney World.
Clan Rots.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we went down. We spent the whole week there. And while we were down there, one of the beers they had all over the place was Cigar City beers because it's
High Lie.
Yeah, so I'm drinking High Lie right now in India Pale Ale because man, I had it a bunch. I was like, ooh, I do like Cigar City beers. So
yeah, High Lie is real good.
It's like one of the better just IPAs that you can get. I have
a friend who doesn't like IPAs and he loves High Lie.
Oh, that's weird. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, it doesn't necessarily go down as it's not as bitey as a lot of like IP like India Pale Ales do. Like, there's a lot that you can get that are a lot like grittier, you know?
It's not a Stone
Um,
IPA.
no, it is definitely not a Stone IPA because those are aggressively hopped. Um, but yeah, no, it's good. I really
Yeah.
enjoy it. I got a
No,
whole bunch of
that
them.
is a good beer.
I got
And
a
it's
whole
nice that like you
yeah.
can get it pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, you can, and it is really good. When we were in Disney, there were a lot of like fun drinks that we got going places.
Yeah.
We went to this falls under this category, so I'm going to tell this story. We went to Oga's Cantina in Batu, which is like the Star
Oh,
Wars bar.
cool.
It was really cool, and I got a drink
Did
that
you get a
was.
blue milk?
I did get a blue milk. I enjoyed the blue milk, Hannah.
What does it
and
taste like?
so. Do you ever go to you ever get like a push pop from the pool? Like whenever you were a kid, like you go to a public pool, there's always ice cream.
Like the Flintstones ones?
Yes, like the Flintstones ones, where it's like it tastes like fruit of some kind, and then it's like a liquid, but it's not a liquid because it's a push pop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it kind of tasted like that, but it was blue raspberry. And it was a beverage. No, there's no alcohol in it. That's one of the ones that has no alcohol in it. So the line was short. But it was, I drank it. There's a picture. I'll post it up. Hannah thought it was gross.
Did you get a blue milk mustache?
I did get a blue milk mustache. Yes, I did. But at Oga's Cantina, they had a bunch of Star Wars themed drinks. The one I got wasn't bubbling or fizzing, but it was kind of like a margarita, but instead on the top it had this like numbing foam, so you would drink it. Hannah, blue milk is not gross. You get out of here.
I already want blue milk.
I thought it was
blue
good.
milk comes from blue cows.
It just came from an orb thing whenever they gave it to me, but it was good. But yeah, it had like numbing foam on the top when I drank it, so it was like my tongue went a little numb while I was drinking it.
My tongue is fat. My tongue.
But it was really cool. We got for Oga's Cantina, you had to schedule a time to go in. You could only be there for 45 minutes.
Oh, that sucks.
But
you have to do a lot of drinking in 45 minutes.
Well, you can't really. They make it so you can't. You basically have enough time to get like one drink and then get a drink for the road, maybe. But that's it because it's like they don't want people, and there's also no bathrooms in there, so you can't like leave and come back.
So D-Hall rules.
Yeah, basically. So you leave, you ain't coming back in. So you gotta so it's like it's designed to make people like go in, experience it, have a drink, and then you leave afterwards. But it was cool, and there was like a robot DJ, and it was pretty neat. Star Wars Land was cool. Hannah and I both said that we would like to go back and just do Star Wars Land.
Wow,
which was really cool.
How was this? Was this your first time like as an adult / of drinking age going to Disney?
No, because I went with band stuff like 10 years ago. So
that's different,
but it's different because you have to look at your kids. This was the first time going and like, hey, we could get a drink places, or like when we went to Epcot, I tried to get a drink in as many of the different countries as I could. And that was really fun.
You got
like beers from Germany. We did. Yeah, we got some Bellinis in Italy.
I love Bellinis.
But we tried to. It was also like one of those things. So we went on the new Disney story time.
This is totally fine because and this is probably going to be extra long because we haven't talked in like a month.
I know it's been so long to catch up on. This will be an extra long episode of the Game Brew podcast.
It's really just me and Dan catching up.
We're just shooting the breeze. But we had so at Epcot they opened up the Guardians of the Galaxy ride,
right?
Cosmic Rewind,
and that is where Universe of Energy used to be. I
think so. Yes. It's still like in like the future-y part of Epcot where it's like oh, it's the world stuff. But so Hannah hates roller coasters.
Why? They're great.
She has motion sickness problems. My mother hates roller coasters. This is the whole family.
Why? They're great.
So we were going to we were trying to figure out what type of ride Guardians of the Galaxy was. And we looked up all these different things and we talked to a bunch of people and they were just like, oh yeah, it's a real smooth ride. That doesn't tell you what it is. Oh yeah, it has like the rotating things, but it's really smooth and good. It still doesn't really tell you what it is. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is like a roller coaster in the way that Spaceship no, not Spaceship Earth. What's the other one? Space Mountain. It's like Space Mountain. It's an inside roller coaster in the dark.
Okay.
But it also rotates and goes a lot faster and is way scarier. And for Hannah, it was the first roller coaster she'd ever gone on. And so
And how'd that go for her?
Terrible. Also, my
no.
two nieces who were 9 and 5 both went on it and they were terrified. Like,
Dan, do you like roller coasters?
I love roller coasters.
Dan,
so
we need to go and ride some roller coasters together.
we can ride some roller coasters. That's fine. But I didn't enjoy that one because I was too scared for Hannah the whole time because I was like, oh man, she's not having a good time.
But was it a smooth ride?
It was a smooth ride, I will say. But oh man, it was, if you want to have the two young girls, my mother, Hannah, all of them were just like, the two girls were crying by the end of it, like I was just bawling. But I will say, Maya, the youngest, whenever they were like going home from Disney, she was like, you know what? I think I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy. I think I liked it. It's like, okay.
Awesome.
Okay. It's 5. Well, she's 6
Awesome.
now, but she just turned 6 on Saturday.
That's awesome.
So happy birthday, Maya. But whenever after we got on and it started going backwards, we were all like,
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
You turned it into Steve Carell?
yes, I did. That was
That's
exactly what
incredible.
we were doing. I got a new sound. I got a soundboard thing. Oh, also, Chris, BT Dubs.
I love me.
Fuck you. Get out of here.
I love me some roller coasters.
Oh, what the
It's me, Lil Scoops.
Lil Scoops.
Lil Scoops is here.
No, fucking Lil Scoops. How did you like Disney World, Lil Scoops?
Will Scoops was
Disney World.
was Disney World. Disney World was the best for Will Scoops.
I just needed to be able to do that again. I mean, that's really the only thing.
Did you lose the ability to do that?
I did, because the other voice changer I had didn't work good on my computer, so it kept screwing up things. So I got a new one. This one works better. It's called Voice Mod.
So, bringing back Will Scoops.
Bring back Lil Scoops.
Fucking hate Will Scoops.
Listen, he loves you. But yeah, Disney was fun. And because we were like,
and you went to this will transition nicely. You went to Harry Potter World too.
We
right?
did. We did go to Hogwarts.
Actually, before we talk about that, did you ride Velocicoaster?
I didn't get to ride Velocicoaster. The lines were too long that day.
It looks so awesome.
It does look really cool. It does. Bradley says it's a lot of fun. It's interesting though, because at Disney they have the Genie Plus stuff where you can like spend you like pay money to.
That's so ridiculous.
It's weird, but it's like it's kind of the same. It did make it kind of nice though. Like, even though it was like $22. So the Genie Plus stuff was like $20 a person, basically, in general. That's not if you want the same thing at Universal, it's $150 a person.
But like, is it multiple rides or just one ride?
No, it's all but with Genie Plus, it's all the rides.
Oh,
But it's like you just have to do it for each individual park, like each day that you're there.
So you say $22 and then you just have assigned times to go to those things?
Yeah, but you like sign up for it. So it's pretty good. It actually, like, if you have someone like my brother-in-law who is really anal about like what he wanted to go on and when we were going on stuff, it was very helpful. The Universal one's basically just a blanket pass though. So
back in the day, when they had the fast passes that you would like go and get your ticket.
You'd like pull a ticket and then walk
There
away.
were buttons on the back of it that you could just press and print out like a fuckload of them.
What?
You didn't have to put your
That's
card
probably
in.
why they changed it. That's probably why they changed it.
We only knew that because my sister worked there. I thought, it was called World of Disney and like the Disney Shopping, Disney Village, whatever it's called now.
Disney Springs?
That one.
Yeah.
At the big Disney store there. She was working there for like
That
a
Disney
summer.
store is nuts, dude.
It's huge.
We also got the today was for VIP members with Lego you could get the Rivendell Lego set. So
I
we
saw
bought
that.
that.
It's real expensive, but it looks real cool.
We bought it today. So it's
Hell yeah.
coming soon. Hannah and my sister-in-law, the Whomping Wizard, or follow her on Instagram at Whomping Wizard. She got the Diagonally
Diagonally.
Lego set, which was also like $500. But it was but that's it's on brand for her, so perfect,
That's awesome.
But yeah, we went to Universal. We went to the Harry Potter, like the Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley. Eliana got to be. We went to Ollivander's, and
Nice.
and they chose Eliana, my niece, my oldest niece, as the one who like got to pick her wand and like all the like he was like, try this one, and then here, point at the flowers, and then the flowers died, and then he bring them back. It was like, here, fix my shelves, say Wingardium Leviosa, and instead the shelves fell down. Then he repaired it, and then she grabbed the one that was hers, and then like the light turned on, the wind started blowing, like in the Harry Potter.
Oh, that's cool.
So she had a lot of fun with that. It was really cool. I was like, oh man, that's a great experience for
That is super cool.
someone to have.
Speaking of experiences with Harry Potter, have you played Hogwarts Legacy yet?
I have. I mean, I probably want Hannah to talk more about it. She's played so much more than I have of it.
Is Hannah here to talk about it?
Hold on. Hannah. Hold on. She might be playing it right now. Hold on one second. She's coming.
Okay.
Hold on. She's coming. Hannah's coming. Oh boy.
Side note: is her name is Queen Azula?
Her name is Queen Azula on
Is that a reference to
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yes.
Yeah, I just started watching that again.
Oh, it's so good. There's a new one coming out.
Yeah.
They're in the process of doing a new one. Here's Hannah. She's eating pizza.
How can you talk if you're eating pizza?
She could do both.
Hi.
Hi. I've heard you're playing a lot of Hogwarts Legacy.
Yes, I think it's really fun. I really
Yeah.
like the exploring part.
How far have you gotten in it?
Sebastian, no, go away. I'm trying to think of what it's called. The room beneath.
The map room?
Yes, I'm doing
Okay,
like
so-
the first trial right now.
Gotcha. Okay, so find one of the old dudes.
Yeah,
Nice. Awesome. So do you have the room of requirement yet?
yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
It's a lot of fun. So
What house are you in?
Ravenclaw.
Okay. And what has Dan also played?
He played a little bit. He hasn't gotten as far as I have.
What house is he in?
A Slytherin.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you said you liked a lot of the exploration. What has there been anything that's like really surprised you or been like, oh, that's so cool that you've seen?
Recently I've been exploring outside of Hogsworth.
Say it.
You know
Hogsworth?
what I'm trying to
Hogwarts,
Hogsworth.
yes.
Yes. Like the world map is huge. And
It's massive.
and there's so many places to go. Like I didn't even see like half of it yet.
Yeah, I've played like 30 some hours and I still
Oh my
haven't like
gosh.
gone to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely almost 40 hours. Yeah, it's absolutely massive.
It's a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
I'm really liking it so far.
It was like the
What's
first like 3D video game she's ever been able to play.
Really?
Yeah, because I get like motion sickness.
Yeah, Dan was mentioning that. I'm sorry about your
It's fine.
Guardians of the Galaxy experience.
It's no one was expecting it, so
Yeah, well, it sounded like you guys were getting kind of no one was really telling you what
yeah,
really happened on the ride. So,
definitely.
but it sounded like it was smooth, so that's good.
I guess my eyes were closed the entire time.
I feel like that would make it worse. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if it's like in the dark. It's
Well,
basically the same.
since I get motion sickness, it's better for me to have complete darkness than like my head whipping around and seeing, like
So
everything.
I know, like when I've drank too much and the room's spinning, if I close my eyes, it gets worse. But I know if I focus on one thing, it gets better. So,
Oh, okay.
so
Yeah.
maybe I don't know, but yeah, cool, awesome. I'm glad you're really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just looking at me now.
Yeah, now we're just looking at you.
Oh.
yeah, we're both looking
Why
at
are
you.
Just looking at
Am I done? Can I
You're
go
done?
watch my movie?
Yeah, you can go watch Mulan now.
Oh, what are you watching?
Mulan.
Hell yeah!
It's
Let's
pretty-
get down to
we
business.
we met Mulan in Epcot.
We did.
In the Mexico pavilion, right?
No, in the Chinese one.
Yeah.
Maybe it was France. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bonjour, it is me, Mulan.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Wait, did you show them our pin?
Oh, look, we got pins.
Did you buy entirely too many? Ooh.
That's mine. My Rebel Alliance one. Oh, we need our droid. Go get CK.
Oh my gosh, Sebastian.
We built.
Please. You say
Please. Here's our little sea builder droid
Ooh.
pin. And then yeah, we got a lot of stuff. Because we built a droid. We could either build a lightsaber or build a droid. And we chose
you already had
fancy
fancy
lightsabers. We were like, oh, build a droid. Also, if you go to the YouTube channel for the Whomping Wizard, you can see my brother build his lightsaber.
That's pretty cool.
There. But yeah, I've played a little bit of it. It is really fun. It's just cool to be like in Harry Potter land, you know?
The best part for me has definitely been Hogwarts. Oh, that's so cool.
This is CK2 CKR20.
Okay, so we got some R2 main body. We've got
Well, actually he's the C series, not the R series. Still an astromech droid, but
it is, yeah.
Hold on. Okay. There he is.
That's so cool. Ooh.
Wait, what was that, buddy? Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. Do you want to be on the podcast? Oh, you do? Okay, that's
How do you feel about Whittle Scoops?
How do you feel about Whittle Scoops? So no, he doesn't like Whittle Scoops.
That was the best.
Okay. And he also, like, you could drive him around. It's carpeted in here. I don't think he'll.
He's not all terrain.
Well, actually,
he doesn't have sport mode.
Oh, maybe. Let's put it. Hold on. Let's see.
Oh no. Like barely.
He doesn't move. He doesn't move. But you can move his head around a bunch too. It
That's
goes
pretty
back
cool.
and forth. Stuff like that.
It's awesome.
We're adults.
We're adults with really
fun?
expensive toys.
Anyway.
We have
We're
adult money.
We're adults with the most expensive toys.
We have.
I paint little figurines like
We're dinks. That's what we keep saying.
Dinks,
It's like,
double income, no kids.
hashtag dink life. What up?
Just like in Doug.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were the dinks because they
Because
had
exactly that.
Exactly that. So,
Yep.
but are you? She told you I'm a Slytherin. What are you, Chris? What did you?
What do you think I am?
Are you a Hufflepuff?
I am.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's that fits the bill.
Yeah.
But
I got to go to Azkaban, which is cool.
Oh, that's very
Um,
interesting.
Yeah, so um I in my head I was thinking about like how I wish it was more like this character that you play is good at everything and has no
Yes.
weaknesses and you just get to do unforgivable curses and it's totally cool.
Well, yeah.
And like there's like and so I wish that there was a little bit more of an RPG element to
Mm.
it. Like that you had to take classes or and you had to specialize in certain
Like
branches
types of magic.
Yeah, so like you had to be into into potion making, or you had
It's like
to
if
be
your
in,
if your last name is Garlic, you obviously have to be the herbology professor. Imagine
mean-
if your last name was Garlic and you were the defense against the dark arts teacher, you know?
I mean that kind of I could see that vampires and garblic.
oh, I guess.
okay.
Yeah. Vampires.
Yeah, right. Like
Vampire.
but you know what I mean. Like I just some of the story choices bothered me.
Well, it's yeah, and that's kind of like whenever it is based off of something that is so like, ooh, it's the chosen one, sort of.
but like KOTOR was able to do that. Okay.
Well, but that's different. I think I would put Star Wars and Harry Potter like stuff are in two different like veins because as much as I think that the world of Harry Potter is interesting, it is nowhere near as expansive or all encompassing as a Star Wars universe would be, where it's like there are things that are very specific and they're very microcosmic, but they're not like globally. Well, I guess they could be. There's more schools and stuff like that.
yeah.
But I don't know. I just like Star Wars more than I like Harry Potter. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So
That being said, I've really enjoyed it, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. It kind of goes into our topic for later if we actually get to that.
No, yeah, we'll get
we'll
to
talk
that.
about that later. What else
I'm
have you been playing?
gonna go to one of mine. So I got a PS5.
Yay!
Yay!
So, God of War Ragnarok.
Well, I already 100%ed God of War Ragnarok, so
Right,
I'm
you played
playing
it
it
on
again. But I am also playing
Demon Souls.
Demon Souls. I kind of stepped away from it a little bit because it's hey, it's Wayne. Wayne says he's been having a lot of fun playing Potter.
Yeah,
Nice, Wayne.
nice.
Tell Syzygy Apogee. Tell us what your house is and what your favorite unforgivable curse is in the chat. Everybody, let us know.
Hashtag
Hashtag Potter stuff. But let's see. On my PS5 right now, I think I've been playing through The Last of Us Part 1.
Nice.
So like the remake of The Last of Us, because I've been trying to play that while the episodes of the show are coming out. So I could be
are you
like
playing like you watch an episode and then go
yeah, and then go back. Like we just did there's the episode where they get to Jackson and they kind of like and meet Tommy and stuff like that. And there's like one scene that's in the that was in the show that they did, and I was like, this is straight from the video game. Like I was like, they didn't change anything about this scene. It's almost exactly the same. And I went back to the game and I played that part, and I was like, yeah, I was right. It's exactly the same. And Neil Druckmann was like, well, it's kind of like one of the most important character building scenes from the game, and I don't think I needed to really change anything from it.
So I've never actually played it. Oh, that is sad.
That was just the robot going to sleep. Sorry, CK.
And I've never played it, and I haven't watched the TV show yet. But all I remember about this is Will Shell being obsessed about these giraffes. Are the giraffes in the TV show? Or
We haven't
they
gotten
not
to the point where the giraffes are in the game and the TV show yet, so we don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Wayne says he's a Ravenclaw and he has never used any unforgivable curses.
I would have been shocked if he was not a Ravenclaw.
He's so smart.
He's
and somehow transforming them into exploding barrels to take out others is cool.
That is pretty great. Yeah. Also kind of dark too.
Yeah, that's
Like,
also pretty messed
you
up.
super casually murder everyone.
Yeah,
And it's like no one talks about that. You're like, you probably kill more people than Voldemort. Like, honestly, you're a murderer.
yes, you are.
Straight up.
But the but Wayne says his favorite part is how well they captured the little Harry Potter universe moments, both in film and the books. Even though it's like supposed to be like in the past. You know?
And like if you go into one of the specific girls' bathrooms, they mention like there's like a little snake on one of the faucets. Who knows what it's for?
Yeah, who knows what it's
And
for?
and like just stuff like that, I thought was cool. I the best part of that game for me is just like exploring Hogwarts.
Yeah,
for sure.
Really, it is. It's just like oh, cool. I remember this thing.
Yeah.
But on the PS5, I've played some exclusives recently that I guess aren't really exclusives anymore. Oh, he's got Wayne keeps saying things that are really cool. Hold on. The Storybook Quest, the Scriptorum for Slytherin Quest, and the Hippogriff flying moment chasing the Hogwarts train as you go home quest is pretty cool.
Yeah, those are cool.
So, but I haven't gotten to any of those yet. I have been playing Returnal, which is coming to PC, but it's on the Game Pass, the PlayStation Plus stuff for PS5, which super worth it right now. Oh my God, there's so many cool things that you could play with the PlayStation Plus stuff.
Nice.
And Returnal is very cool because you get to be. It's like a roguelike, and it plays. It's like a third person shooter roguelike, but it's couched in the story in that it's like you keep going to this planet where it's like something's weird about it, and like every time you die, you come back again, but you can still see like where your dead body is. It's like you keep waking up and being like, oh, I'm on this planet, I need to get off somehow, but then you keep seeing your dead bodies popping up, and there's like way more than you thought there were. So it's very sort of like cosmic horror-y, but the way it plays is very much like a 2D, like a top-down bullet hell sort of thing, where like the enemies will like attack you with their hands and stuff, but most of the attacks are like big bright blue balls that shoot out in like specific patterns or like different ways. So like, you know how in bullet hells it's usually you're going around and it's like, oh, this enemy shoots things that are like 3 burst things in this direction.
Right.
It's kind of like that, but in 3D land.
So like a third person instead of top down version of that.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. It's
That's
and
cool.
It's very cool. It's hard though. So, but it makes you want to, it's good enough that it wants to keep you, it makes you want to keep playing. Yeah. So I'm going to keep doing that. There's also,
I got another one real quick.
You go.
Company of Heroes 3 came out. I was super pumped for this.
You were.
It needs work.
Oh no.
So like, it's a lot of like the same map stuff. What I was really excited for, it's a lot of the same basic like gameplay from 1 and 2. But they added an overworld style map, kind of like Total War, but it like doesn't have a lot of effect on how the battles fight.
Okay.
And also it's incredibly buggy. Like, for example, I have an army of paratroopers that I guess we're supposed to be at a different airport or something, and when they deployed, they landed in the water, and now I can't do anything with them. So I just have to pay for the upkeep of this army that I can't do anything with.
They're just in the water somewhere.
Yep, they're just.
That's pretty awful.
Yeah, so it's just like and it seems like they could have done something really cool with that game mode, but they didn't spend all the time they needed to do it. So, kind of disappointed in that. But
I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. You know, it seems like a lot of these like strategy-based games have been having a lot of like buggy issues whenever they come out.
A year ago, around the same time, Total War 3 came out, and it was also pretty buggy.
Yeah.
And it was also Sega that released it.
Sega, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Oh yeah, kind of a bummer. I was a little bummed about that one.
Oh,
Hopefully they're going to
jeez.
support it. I mean, I expect they're going to support it for a good long while, at least. Hopefully they will. So hopefully they'll fix it. But we shall see. What other things have you been playing?
There was something that just came out. A lot of stuff. I'm gonna do one more, and then I'm gonna cut it off. There was a new Souls-like that came out.
Mhm.
It's called Wo Long Fallen Dynasty.
Okay.
So it's by Team Ninja, developed by Koei Tecmo.
So that's the same group that did
They did all the Neo. They did the
sorry.
They also did Dead or Alive. They did Hyrule
classic.
Warriors. They did Metroid Other M.
Ooh, Steam does not like this game.
All the Ninja Gaiden stuff. So it's kind of like it kind of plays like a Ninja Gaiden-esque. It's kind of like if I took Dark Souls, right? Took Dark Souls.
Uh-huh.
And then I took a little bit of Ninja Gaiden. I put it in there, shoved them together. Then I took Dynasty Warriors, and then I also put that in.
Oh, okay.
And then also like weird creepy dragon things. I put those in there because basically it starts in the Yellow Turban Rebellion, which is always the first level of Dynasty Warriors whenever you play it. Because I guess it's supposed to be another telling of the like romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, but instead there's like demons, and you have to focus on doing some. Oh, also take a little bit of what is it? The samurai game where it's about blocking and parrying and stuff. Sekiro, yeah, take that, put that in there too, because a big part of the game is like you have to counter things and like block stuff instead of like just dodge rolling. So far it's hard. It's not punishingly difficult. Like the first part took a while to do, but you just to kind of learn all the different things. But so far it's fine. I need to keep playing it and see exactly what's up, you know?
So when you said it was like Dynasty Warriors, is it just because it has the romance of the Three Kingdoms as the backstory for it, or are you killing thousands of?
No, you're not killing thousands of people. It's still like slightly less stuff, but all of the heroes from the romance of the Three Kingdoms are in it. Like I just met
Lu Bu.
Well, I haven't met Lu Bu yet. I just met Zhao Yun. Who is one of the generals. He uses a big spear. He showed up. I was just like, "Hey, that's Zhao Yun," and he was like, "I am Zhao Yun." I was like, "Okay, yeah." So it's like, "Great, knew it." Boom. My knowledge of these giant the epic Chinese poems is coming to good use. Wow, these ratings are all over the place.
They really are.
Yeah, Steam says 5 out of 10, but Metacritic and IGN gave it an 8 out of 10.
I don't really trust IGN anymore.
You know, it's fine. It's one of those things where it's like this is a type of game that will speak to the people who want to play it. You know, like if you liked Neo, you'll probably like this. You know,
sure.
So, but yeah, it's pretty good. It looks pretty. If you turn all the graphic settings all the way up, man, it will make your computer work really hard. So be careful.
Have you checked out Atomic Hearts yet?
No, I haven't.
Are you going to?
Probably not.
Because of some of the stuff with it, or just
I've looked at it and I'm like, eh. What do you think? I see you've done a little bit of it.
Yeah, I've done a tiny bit of it. I played it for like an hour or two, and so like my first impression of it is that it reminds me of BioShock Infinite.
Okay.
But Russian instead of American.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Which isn't a bad thing. I mean, I would consider that a pretty good
Yeah,
thing to be compared to.
comparison. Yeah.
But it does have kind of like a Fallout style, like scrounging for stuff.
Okay,
This
like you
too,
open up
kinda
every
cool.
little thing and try and take
Yeah.
whatever you can. I've got
Yeah.
17 wheels of cheese in my inventory.
Less
of
than
thing.
that, so it's like it's a little more than like Infinite in that you're like trying to scrounge up stuff, but a little less than like a
Got
like
it.
Fallout. So
Got it.
it's been interesting so far. I haven't gotten too far into it, but I don't know. I think it's kind of cool, so I might
Okay,
continue playing that.
nice. I'll have to see if I can
It's on Game Pass.
download. Well, if it's on Game Pass, I don't have to spend any money on it. Man, there's been nothing is better than the feeling of like something being on Game Pass and just being like, yes.
Well, I can try it.
I could try it,
if
and I
it's
don't
not,
have to
I
think
lose
about
nothing.
But speaking of things that we don't have to lose any sleep over, we're going to talk about what.
Oh, did you? I thought you were rapid firing some stuff real quick.
Oh no, I'm not going to rapid fire any more things. I'll talk about more games as I play because I have
I
so
did
many
finish
things.
Katamari Damacy.
You did, of course, again for the 100th time.
No, did I mention that last time? I might have mentioned that right before.
You mentioned that you were playing it.
All right, yeah, I beat it.
Nice,
It's pretty
cool.
great.
Very cool. We're not doing that competition anymore, Chris. It just became unfair. So
Why did it become unfair?
because I kept winning all the time.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
See, no one can be
You know
as
why?
good at finishing games as me.
Because sometimes I feel done with the game.
I'm done. Which is a
And,
perfect way to talk about that. Which is there are two different types of things, right? You
Yeah.
brought this up. You posted this in our little thing, and you were just like,
Well,
"What's
and
it?"
so actually, before we give me all the credit, I did kind of like get inspired by a Reddit post that I saw.
You're
but that's
inspired by
okay.
a Reddit post. That's okay. Thank you, Reddit. Thank you, Reddit.
I cite my sources.
Thank you, random Reddit user.
I'm like the credible Hulk, you know. I cite my sources.
Hulk smash with credible sources cited in APA style. There we go. I freaking love soundboards. But the I'm just turning into a Saturday like morning shock jock.
Yeah,
DJ.
I know.
But there is, I guess, two different distinct types of like there are people who think like there's a difference. Like if you pick up a game, what are the merits of like beating a game versus like finishing, like being finished with playing a game?
So
Mhm.
I'll give you an example. I have played Skyrim across multiple devices.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent hundreds of hours on this game.
Correct.
I've never seen the ending.
You've never finished the main story of
Never finished the main story.
I
of Skyrim.
find that hard to believe. Well,
I never did.
Chris, you want to know something?
What?
I put a lot of hours into the Legend of Zelda, the Breath of the Wild.
Same.
Played a lot of it.
Yep.
Never beat Ganon. Never beat it.
The last time I remember playing
Wayne doesn't
Breath
find
of
it
the
hard
Wild.
to believe with
Breath of the Wild. I was going to get the Hyrule Shield. I had done everything else basically, so I was getting the Hyrule Shield and then going to fight Ganon. That's where I stopped.
and that's it. That's the end.
I beat that game. I consider myself. I think I beat that game.
That's the same way I was saying. It was like I beat it. I basically beat it. All I have to do is beat Ganon. That's probably real easy, so I'm done, you know?
Yeah, I did the same thing with Dark Souls. I eventually did beat Gwyn. But like
I do
it was
remember
to the
that.
point, yeah, I was
you
like
for a while.
because Ian was like shitting on me for not doing it. So I was like, fine.
Fine.
And so like
I'll
I
do
basically
it.
took an hour out of my day one day and just did it.
I haven't beat Elden Ring yet either because I got
Oh, me
to
neither.
I
It's
got
great,
to the
though. I
end
love-
and I'm just like
I love Elden Ring.
I'm like, this is great. It's a great game. I'm done. You know, I'll go back and do it eventually.
I'm 100% going to go back to that game.
Maybe we'll do a. Maybe you and I could do a naked start run through it. See who can get the furthest. Maybe we'll.
I did a naked start on my first run
Oh, you did. Well, we'll do
Yeah, I started with-
another one.
Yeah.
I-
because that's
I
what you
picked
do
a
with
different
Souls games. You start with nothing.
game. If you're a masochist.
It was,
But
it was fine. It worked out.
but there are merits. So that's some examples of us being finished with games instead of like beating a game. Whereas like with God of War Ragnarok, I beat that game. I 100%ed that game. I platinum trophied that game because, boy, I wanted to soak up every little bit of it, like everything I possibly could. And I just recently saw there was something that I didn't do that I could have done that I have to go back and do. So I got to restart it now. Luckily, I have it for PS5 as well, so I could do that.
Wayne says all my open world games involve abandoning the main quest as fast as possible. Took my coworker's intervention finally to drag my ass to the final Skyrim quest. Yeah, I mean, like, same thing with Oblivion. I don't think I ever beat Oblivion.
You know, I will say with those main quests in Skyrim, I didn't even know that I was like about to finish it, and then I finished it, and I was like, oh, well, there's other stuff I could go do, so I'm gonna go do that.
Right.
So what's the difference? Why are there games that we can or Chris, before we go into that, rather, is there a game that you've played that you were like, I have to beat this, like I have to finish?
So in my head, I was going to do that with Hogwarts Legacy, and I don't know if I'm going to do that still.
Okay, but is there one that you have done, like in the past?
I mean, I mentioned Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, right?
Trying to think of other ones recently.
Any of your like?
I beat Raft, but that was because it was multiplayer. I never have to play Raft again for myself.
Well, but that's a thing though, is because you were doing it with other people and you could collaborate on a task.
Doom, both Doom and Doom
Eternal. Oh
yeah,
I did. Doom is that's a
but that's also a little different. I maybe that's the difference is that if it's open world, I have more of an incentive not to beat it.
Not to do. You're not on rails. You're not on a track going to somewhere.
Right.
Whenever you could like go any of these other different directions.
Right.
That it's like you could do whatever.
Right. And often with open world games, there's a point where like you just become so strong that like what you do doesn't matter anymore. And once you're at that point, you've pretty much beaten the game. Like,
yeah, it was like, I'm the most powerful being in this entire world, therefore me done. Yeah. I done. Bye.
Yeah.
I go do other things. I'm gonna see how far I can hit this tree instead of.
Yeah, like there's really not much more you can earn. Like
yeah,
and maybe that's part of it too for me is like once you get to the point where like you can't really like achieve anything else other than just beating the game. It's like, well, you kind of just beat the game then already.
Yeah. Right. So then it's okay. So do you feel like, and that's kind of where there's an interesting dichotomy between like the different feelings that we have about it. Like I'm really happy that I managed to get all of I platinumed Ragnarok. Like I got all the trophies. I have an outward thing that shows I did everything I could do except for the one thing, but it doesn't have a trophy for it.
Oh, so you got all the Chivos.
I got all the Chivos, and that's why I love Chivos. I love Chivos. Yeah. They're so good. Which is why whenever they added Chivos to the Power Wash Simulator, and I can't like get some of the things without going back and redoing it, and I'm like annoyed by that because it takes so long to play Power Wash Simulator.
Yes and no.
It kind of
better
does.
with a friend.
It is better with a friend. Did you speak of Power Wash Simulator? They just released the Midgar pack, so you can. It's Final Fantasy VII stuff.
Is it free?
It's free. Yeah, all the DLC is free for Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, that game is.
I know.
That game is great.
It's choice. They did do something that like messed up the frame rates that I had to fix. Like, remember last time we played, we were like, I was like, oh, there's something weird with the frame rate. Every time I turn, it was like it was freezing. I figured it out, so I fixed it, but it took a long time and like going to a bunch of forums. So, Power Wash Simulator devs, fix it. But yeah, that's a game where it's like you keep coming back to it, and there are things. But I do think there is a very like. There's a very different with these single player games, story driven games where it's like from the beginning to the end, it's very much like watching a satisfying TV show or like a movie that really pays off. It's like watching Ocean's 11. You know, it's to finally see like all the twists and turns and what actually happens in the end. I think that's with those sort of games. That's why it makes you want to like, oh, I have to finish it. I have to see how all of this comes together.
Yeah. Well, and yeah. I mean, and the other thing I sometimes get stuck with is if it's a really good game, I don't want it to end.
Right.
And then I stop playing it, and then when I come back to it, I start over.
Right. Because it's like, oh, I'm not going to play this. There are so many games where I've done that over. It's like, well, I guess I got to start this again.
Every time with Skyrim. And like now that I have it on Switch, like I'll probably eventually the only time I'll ever beat it is probably going to be on Switch because it like I'm being better about like picking it up every like once every 2 weeks or something and playing it a little bit.
I think that I've started Kingdom Hearts 3 probably 4 or 5 times because I've started it and then I'm like, and I get halfway through and then I'm like, these unskippable cutscenes are so long and there's so much story that I don't understand. And then I'm like, I'll come back and play it later. And then I come back, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I have to go back to the beginning.
All the time.
Or what else? There's another game that I was playing that was a similar way where I couldn't remember how to play, so I had to start over again.
I mean, I'm going to have to do that with Elden Ring, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's like, once you get to a spot in Elden Ring, like once you're in like near the end game.
Yeah. Do you now know what's going on in Kingdom Hearts? Does anyone know? I think not even the people who write the story for Kingdom Hearts know what's going on in the Kingdom Hearts. I've watched multiple videos to try and tell me what the story is to Kingdom Hearts. I still don't know.
Is it harder to follow than Dark Souls?
Yes, it is. Even though
they don't even have a story that you tell.
They don't even have a story to follow, but the Dark Souls is at least
the items.
It's like you just read the items. That's fine. They're telling. There's a guy there going like, in the beginning of time. It's and I'm like, I don't get it. Who? Anselm, Abasampajum, Dezizor. Who's these guys? Put an X in your name. That means you're you, but you're not you. You're somebody else. But don't worry, you've got a heart. He's got a heart. She doesn't have a heart, but she might have a heart. You could get a heart and put it in her heart, and then you use heart.
Oh, Donkey. Apparently, Donkey has an amazing story.
Well, we'll have to take a look at that then.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, there's like Elden Ring. I was saying like to get back to Elden Ring, like I would have to spend a lot of time either with my character again or just start over.
It's that relearning how to play. Like you got
and like relearning your build.
Yeah. You got to a point where it was automatic. Like you played it for a while. You got to a point where it was just automatic at my fingers and my mind. We did everything that we could do together. And then I went and played, some other bullshit for a while. Yeah. And then you come back and you're like, oh, damn it. I don't remember how any of this works. And then it was like, where was I? What stories was I in the middle of? What things
and like for whatever reason, I don't feel that way with strategy games. And maybe because that's more like knowledge skill based versus like muscle memory skills based.
I do think that it is a little bit more because strategy games. Sorry, I'm shouting from far away as I get my next bev. But strategy games are a little bit more like universal smartness. Like you have to remember some mechanics, but in general, it's still about it's strategy,
Right.
Where it's like, I could go back and play Risk again, and I'm like, I know the strategy behind Risk, have more dudes than the other dudes, win battles.
I mean, that's pretty much every strategy game is have more dudes than the other dudes, yeah.
That's global strategy as well.
Yeah, like I don't feel terribly far behind maybe some meta stuff, but like terribly far behind when I go back and play Hearts of Iron.
Right.
But
sometimes there's things with like meta stuff is interesting because that changes a whole lot of, so a lot of like the live service games or battle royales, things like that.
Or like
Whenever
Fortnite and even
Fortnite's
too.
Fortnite's different because I don't think Fortnite ever makes changes so big that it makes it unaccessible, or it makes it like
you're thinking more like League or
League,
Overwatch.
Overwatch, Warzone.
Yeah, okay.
It's like things where whenever they'll change something. I remember whenever I played League of Legends when it was in beta or like alpha or something. And I was like, this is really fun. This is really cool. And then I came back 6 years later, something like that. And I was like, this is a completely different game. Like, it was like everything
It's
about
not,
this.
but it is.
It's not, but it is. It felt like it was because they changed everything that I knew. And I was like, oh, I used to be good at this. I'm no longer good at this, which is how I feel playing like Call of Duty Warzone stuff now, where I'm like, I remember when it first came out, I was great at it. I was like one of the top players among like all the people that we played with. But now I'm like bottom tier. I'm like, I can't do it. I don't play it enough to have those fast twitch muscles. But let's kind of circle back, let's put a pin in this. Let's circle back to our main topic here. So there are some games that you have to finish. Like you said with Doom, like the Doom games, like you had to finish those. Was that because you needed to see how the story ended or because you needed to be done with it?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. And like with specifically Doom, it was one of those things that like it seemed like the full experience was the whole ride. Whereas a lot of the time with open world games, especially, it's not.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Right. Whereas with Doom, it was more about the destination also.
Mm-hmm. The journey was fun, but you got to the end of the story.
Yeah.
And like once you get there, you're like, okay, I'm done. I did.
Yeah, and like I haven't like gone and back and played them much.
Well, there is DLC for it. You could also get to.
I could.
I think it's free. I think it's free. You
is it? Really?
Yeah, there's free DLC for it, baby.
For Doom?
For Doom, or Returnal.
Eternal.
Returnal. It's a different game.
I do have a pretty dope Doom Eternal poster over here.
I've got
right there.
That's about it. Nice. Look at that Doom Eternal poster.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing came out at the same time during the pandemic?
I do. It was like right at the beginning of the pandemic. I actually played Doom at PAX right before the pandemic.
That's right. And then there was so much awesome like fan art of combining Animal Crossing
Isabella
and
Doom Guy.
Yeah, it was great.
It was the best.
I have a question for you because this is something I think about all the time.
All the time?
A lot.
Like when you're going to bed, you're like
constantly. I'm awake until 2 a.m. just thinking about this. So games, obviously, video games cost money, right? Now we have Game Pass and things like that, so we don't have to worry about it.
So they're free? No, that's not.
They're not free, but it is like I still think about this all the time. Whenever there are games like Skyrim, like Fallout, MMORPGs, things that you spend a lot of time in that cost $60. Well, $70 now for some of them. That's probably going to be the price of games in the future, $70. I know it's off. Well, it's been like 15 years since they've had a price hike. So
I said boo and I meant boo.
Okay, sorry. Let me take my corporate Dan hat off I forgot I left that on. Actually, no, I need it. I need it again. Because
PC games seem a little bit resilient to it, which is nice.
A little bit, but it's going up. It's all going up. But
to be fair, it's been like 20 years. So.
Yeah. Do you think that games that you have to finish, like like a Doom Eternal, like you play it, you get to the end, the value of the money that you pay for that game versus a game like Skyrim or Fallout, like these open world games that you can spend like hours and hours and hours and hours in, do you think that you're getting your money's worth out of that game because of like this sort of like should I beat the game or should I just stop playing the game whenever I feel like I've beaten it?
I mean, I think if you go to it from like an hours per dollar spent perspective, which is how I'm going to treat this.
Mhm.
So I don't, because I played Doom Eternal before it was on Steam. I don't have the count of how many hours I played Doom Eternal, but
Right.
I do have it for Doom. It was like a little over 22 hours.
Right.
And let's pretend that I paid $60 for the first Doom. I didn't.
Right.
I'm sure I bought it.
But
on
let's
sale.
just for
Let's
argument's
pretend.
sake.
Let's pretend.
let's
So
say
I
it's
basically
$60.
paid a little less than $3 per hour that I paid for it. Great return on investment, right?
Yeah, at ROIs, I'd take that ROI.
Yeah, I mean that's way better than movies.
That's true. That's
Like,
true.
if you go to the cinema,
If you go to an
the
IMAX movie,
Cineplex
if you go to an IMAX movie, it's $22.
for maximum, absolute maximum 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's more
So
than $7.
yeah.
Plus, you're buying
what are we-
popcorn. You're
What are we
buying soda.
crazy? Yeah.
You probably
would've-
had to buy your date's ticket. You probably had
No.
to take that date out to dinner beforehand.
Oh, I hate taking
Expensive
Anna out
night.
to dinner.
Expensive night, right?
I hate it. It's the
Eats,
worst.
right? Ridiculous.
Why can't we just hang out
Um,
with our buds all the time?
With the bros. So yeah, great return on investment. I have bought Skyrim 5 times,
That's
and I
true.
guarantee that I've paid less than $3 per hour.
Probably.
Even
for the
by
amount of
modding
time you played it.
Yeah,
I think
Like-
it's interesting. I think about this with like Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8. Like, I love that. I love the Resident Evil series. I love
great
that
game.
first
Played
person.
20 hours. Played it for 20 hours.
Spent $60 on it. Played it for 20 hours. You
$3
bought
per
it
hour.
for me,
Fantastic.
if I'm not mistaken.
Did I? Oh yeah, because you were kind of like
Because
yeah.
at the time I was strapped for cash, and
I was like,
and
I need. I was like, you need to have this.
you need to have this, which is why me and Chris are the bestest friends that ever could be. And it's just like that game. It's like, it's so good, and it's like, was it worth the $60? Yeah, I think so.
Was it worth the $60 I paid for you?
that I didn't pay for? Yes, it was. It was worth Chris's $60.
Well,
I
it
need
was
to
worth
find-
$120 for our 40 hours. So.
for both of our pleasure. I need to find a game that I could buy you for that
Don't
for
worry
full
about it.
price. I'm gonna buy you the Dead Space remake so you can play that.
Ooh. Is
Is
it on Game Pass?
No, it's not on Game Pass.
That's the hard part with things now. Is like, is
It's
it
like,
on Game Pass?
is it on Game Pass? I don't want to spend $60 on something that could be free.
Well, free.
Free. But there are some where it's like, I think
Company of Heroes right now is not worth $60 to
is
me.
not worth $60. So
Um,
but it's
Warhammer Total War 3 when it came out, although flawed, still 100% worth $60 to me.
interesting. I think that's interesting because it's like, but like initially when it came out, would you have thought that? Like,
Oh yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
But like that's a game that I knew I was going to spend a ton. Like I've spent in a little over a year I've spent 276 hours on this game.
Oh my God, Chris, do
I touch grass?
Well,
Sometimes.
well, that's what the Generation Z said. Chris, we're millennials. We don't have to talk like that. They're not paying attention to this podcast right now.
You don't know. Oh yeah, I've spent 11 and a half days of my last year.
You could
playing
have
this
been
game.
spending that time with your beautiful wife who you love.
Yes, I could have. Instead, I was playing it probably with Tyler.
with your man wife. It's
Bros.
that's with your bro. Why can't I just hang out with my bros all the time? Johnny Two Hammers came out a little bit.
Johnny
there.
Two Hammers.
Johnny Two Hammers. Hey, I just want to play Mario Kart with my boys.
Mario.
Kart with my boys, but my wife keeps getting in the way. Wayne says, I did wish there was some recognized standards for game quality versus cost, or run into the same market crash in the 80s as in the 80s.
Caused by the ET game, I believe.
Yeah, that's really what did it.
That was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back there.
But that's tough. That's tough. We could have a whole nother topic. In fact, we'll put that on the list of like future topics, which is like the cost versus worth of video games in today's market, because video games are one of the biggest money makers in the entertainment industry right now. And so it's changed so much from the way that it was. Like movies used to be huge. Movies still
are.
And they still, I mean, honestly, they're not doing great. Did you see AMC? They're like going to be charging people like based on their seating preference in theaters.
Jesus.
They're like, instead of just buying a ticket to the movies, it's like, oh, you want to sit in the middle, in the upper part, you have to spend more money. It's just like, I mean.
When was the last time you went to the movie theater?
I went to see Quantumania, but I'm still going to say you.
Nice.
AMC.
That was pretty slick there.
That was pretty slick. Yeah. Just because there are a bunch of holes, you know. So it's really.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I've gotten to the point like I can just fucking wait.
I mean,
I'll fucking wait.
There are some things that I'll go see. Quantumania was really cool to see in
I heard it wasn't
IMAX.
great.
Well, the people who you heard that from were not giant nerds like me. Okay.
Or like super into Paul Rudd, which is totally cool.
I mean,
I get it.
Who isn't super into Paul Rudd? Come on, he's a vampire.
I'm sure there's someone that isn't into Paul Rudd.
Idiots. Yeah, idiots. That's who we call those people.
True.
No, but that's like one of those things. There's with Marvel stuff, I feel like there's a group, there's like people who are too nerdy to enjoy like the movies and stuff because they analyze it too hard. And then there's people who don't care a lot. And then there's people like me in the middle where I'm just like happy to look at the shiny, flashy lights. You know?
Yeah, it's like people that are like not like hating on all the Star Wars, and I'm just like, I'm just happy.
Yeah, it's like I'm just happy with Star Wars, man. I don't care. Star Wars. Listen, if there's more Star Wars, if there's lightsabers in it, is smuggler. If
did John Williams do
John Williams? Yeah, I want it.
I'm in it.
I'm in. Put me in. When we went to Batuu in Hollywood Studios in the Star Wars land, I was geeking out the whole time. Like there was not a point when we were there. We took so many pictures with like the Disney picture people that were around, and like it was just so cool. Man, I love Star Wars.
It sounds pretty cool.
But anyway, back to the topic that we were talking about before. But yeah, we'll probably talk about monetary value with video games eventually. So let's go. Chris, do you have any more points that you wanted to bring up on this before I go to our like final question?
No, I think the last point I was going to make is related to the final question. So go ahead and do that.
Okay. So the final question is gonna be this: is 100%ing a game versus just completing the game the same thing? Like, would you have the same amount of good time feelings by saying, I got every single thing, I got all the achievements, I did everything I possibly could this game, versus I went from the beginning to the end of the game and I finished it?
It's not the same, but when I get to a point where it feels like work versus a game, that's when I'm trying to tell myself to stop at this point.
Interesting.
You see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like once I get to that point, I feel like I finished the game.
There are some times whenever it's like, in Dark Souls, there's been a few times whenever you had that little demon on your shoulder who was just
It's
like,
different.
you could just give up now though.
Dark Souls is different. It's just a little bit different.
It's a little bit different. Just a little bit different. I will say, like, there is a distinct difference between the feeling of like getting to the end of a game versus like it does feel like a little bit like a weight leaves you whenever you 100% something. Like,
Sure.
even
yeah.
if you,
No,
even
and
if,
it feels great. Like you got all the check marks you could check. Like it's awesome.
yeah, there is a little loss though, because it's like you can't go back. Once you do that, you're like, I did everything I could. And I'm going to give it some time. But other than that, it's like I can't get that feeling. It's like heroin. I can't get that feeling again. I'm going to be chasing that high, Chris.
Until they come out with another.
Until they come out with a new God of War Ragnarok. What
right.
Norse gods am I going to murder in the next one? Or is it going to be like Egyptian gods I'm going to have to murder in the next one?
I mean, eventually they're going to run out of gods like they did with the Greek pantheon. And
That's
like,
true. That's true. That's why they had to go to the Norse mythology.
And then they're going to go to the Egyptian mythology.
Now we're
going
going
to India.
Yeah! Wait, hold on. Maybe there's hold on. I got to see. Maybe there's one. I got to see if there's a Howard
the
Dean's.
sound.
Hold on, Howard.
Remember when that was all it was needed to end a person's eligibility to be president of the United States?
Yeah, well, it's definitely changed, hasn't it?
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hold on. Add. Okay, here we go. Here it is, Chris.
That's awesome.
Oh boy.
But yeah, anyways.
But Wayne says, in regards to 100% or finishing a game, what end state during the game makes you guys happiest? In my opinion, quantifying utility is one way to think about it. Ugh, Wayne,
I don't even know what that means, dude.
You're using too many big words.
What do you mean by quantifying utility? Anyways, I'm going to answer the first part of your question. I think it's definitely more satisfying to 100% a game, but like I said, at a certain point, you get to the if it starts feeling like work to 100% a game, then I'm good.
Then it's a little bit different. There are some
even just finish a game.
When it's finishing a game in a series, whenever I finished BioShock Infinite, I have never felt like so satisfied with oh wow, they explained everything from the other games and how this lined up and how all this went. I didn't 100% it, but I got the same sort of feeling from it because I was like, wow, I know everything.
You, tied up all your loose ends.
Yeah. I understand this weird timeline based weird timey-wimey alternate reality dimension sort of stuff. Wayne says, lol, I don't need to 100% a game. Sekiro. Right. If I get to a really hard boss and I finally crush them, I'm in my happy place and I can stop. I never beat Sekiro. I got to the last boss and I was
did you beat Sekiro?
I did, because it's the only thing I didn't do was beat the last boss.
Yeah.
Because it was hard as hell and it felt like work. Like you were saying, it started to feel like I really had to work and I was doing research on what the best way to do it was. And I was like, bah.
I mean, and there's something to be said about doing that, and it feels good once you do it. But I don't know, you beat Sekiro. I don't know.
I beat Sekiro. I pretty much beat Sekiro. Yeah. The trophies don't show it, but man, did I do it.
I'm pretty sure I beat Skyrim.
I'm pretty sure I beat Skyrim.
I beat the hell out of Skyrim.
Listen, I didn't find all the. I wonder if Righteous is still trying to find all of the different.
No, he's not. He's actually playing Hogwarts Legacy right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice. We're gonna have to.
He downloaded it and has been playing that recently.
We're gonna have to get some updates from the rest of the brew crew.
We'll have to figure out when we're doing the.
Oh, might be we might be doing a summertime stream.
The SummerSlam.
We could play WWE during the our SummerSlam.
We could do it on an arcade machine if you came down here.
We could. On the other hand, The Witness was 100%ed.
Ooh, really? Nice.
Was that you finished all the puzzles?
That's a lot of puzzles.
Because that's a lot of puzzles. You know how I beat The Witness? I did.
Cheating.
No, not cheating. There's a way to beat it by doing one puzzle in the very beginning, and then you win. It's there's one thing that you could do, and you're like, I did it. Being with my family and finally getting them all was an awesome, happy place to be. Totally worth it. all 523, including
That's
that
awesome.
really nasty music one. Good God, I cannot imagine. It wasn't the
Yeah.
diamonds thing. It was literally like the very first like big gate that you come to where you have to do all the puzzles and like get things moved around. You can line it up so that it actually goes up to the sun. And then basically you line it up so it goes like from the sun down the gate into the thing, and then it just opens up the end of the game and you win.
Oh, that's shitty. I mean, cool, but shitty.
It might have
But
been
you
a
have to do all
diamond.
that work. Yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, Wayne, you want to do 523 puzzles? I did one. Big brain moves, man. Big brain moves. Great. Took 100 plus hours in to realize. Boy. Oh boy. So you could do whatever is the answer to this question. You could do
Yeah,
whatever the hell
so-
you want, man.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's like the common strain of a lot of our thoughts about video games is like you do
Yeah.
you, boo boo, whatever makes you happy. They're your video games. Don't you
We had a similar idea whenever it was like playing games in a different way than the games are meant to be played. It's like you could do whatever you want, man. Like that's
they're
it's
meant
like
to be fun.
pickleball's big right now. I was like, I thought it was called squash, but apparently there's like a whole thing called pickleball that people are playing. That's
Yeah,
really fun. I just
and
like
old people love
tennis.
it.
And young people too, I guess. I don't
Really?
know.
I
Yeah,
knew the,
it's a
I knew the
thing.
old folks.
It
loved
might be like a Northeast sort of thing, like all the rich.
People do it down here.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
thought it was just one of the things
Not
that.
that we're in the South, but like.
Well, no, it's just one of those things that the rich want to do whenever they're doing their outside game time. You know,
Yeah. Your mom's gonna be real happy with that.
she is, because I can say,
At least for you.
and then she won't get mad. She won't get mad whenever I say, you know, this is great.
That's awesome.
We
We don't have to put that in post. It's great.
Yeah, I don't have to do. See, that's why the glory of a soundboard. I don't have to do any editing after this. It's all there already. It's in. It's in. All right. So with that, we are going to end.
We're going to end this 90-minute podcast. that
We're
we
going
just
to end
did.
this 90-minute podcast.
Almost 90 minutes.
Oh, I mean, it'll be less whenever we take out all the because we started late and then like we've
Yeah.
been streaming for like an hour and 20 something. This
It's
is
still
probably like
Still
hour
a decent
15.
amount of time.
There's a lot of visual gags no one will get. Look what I'm doing with my hands.
No, that was crazy.
Oh, what?
Oh, if you'd only seen it.
Boy. But we're gonna end the podcast portion of it. First, we're gonna do all the plugs. So obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, you should come join the Discord, bit.ly/discobrew. Post whatever you want in there. Be kind to each other, but also, memes, funny things. Every once in a while, Will Shell has a
Thanks,
revelation, and he posts it in the Discord. They're usually
and
pretty good.
it's really groundbreaking. Usually.
It's either groundbreaking or like relevant to dad life. Like if you want to hashtag dad life, we talk to Will Shell because he knows what's up. If you want to hashtag dog dad life, you could talk to Chris or me
that's right.
or Righteous or Ian
Yeah.
or also Will. Everybody. Millennials get dogs. That's what we do.
0 children, all dog.
All dogs. All dogs. That's how we dink it up, baby. Dink it up. You could remember to subscribe to the podcast if you're listening to it for the first time.
Hype the podcast.
Hype it up. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Tell your friends' moms.
Don't tell their friends' moms though.
Don't tell your friends' moms. Let your friends tell your friends to friends' moms. But also, if you are listening to the podcast and you haven't reviewed it, leave a review on it.
Those help a lot.
They do. We've been around for a while. I guess almost 5 or 6 years at this point.
Wow, fuck, really? Yes, we have.
I mean, it's
Because
been.
I was thinking 3 for a second because we're almost approaching like 150. But we do this every other week.
No,
Well,
we do this every other week, and there's also a bunch of bullshit in there too that we throw in, like the
Yeah.
Game View podcast. Speaking
Which is
of
excellent.
which, the Game View podcast, which is our side project that we do on the same channel. If you haven't watched it yet or haven't been listening, the next movie that we are watching and talking about is Blood Rain.
Oh, I have to rewatch that.
Yeah,
It was
you have
bad.
you watched it already, and I was like, I can't believe you're watching that now. I told you I'm going to be gone for a few weeks. I'm so
Oh, it's
sorry,
so
Chris. You
bad.
gotta
I'll
watch it again.
again.
But I gotta watch it too. So watch Blood Rain, and then you can keep up with us. Or if you want to be involved, please let us know, and maybe hey, you can be a guest star on the Game View podcast.
Yeah, if you're like super passionate about Blood Rain,
Blood Rain,
yes,
please let us know.
please let us know.
Or if you just love shitty movies like I do,
or yeah, yes.
like we love. Chris and I love two things: video games, movies. Oh shit, our wives and girlfriends. Those are on the top.
That's third.
That's no.
I mean first.
First.
Wait, shit.
Shit. But yeah, we love that stuff, and if you love it too, come hang out with us, talk with us. I stream.
Oh, we love beer too.
We love beer. If you have a good beer that you like, and you want to tell us about it, tell us about
To
it.
see if
and-
we like it too.
Yeah, and we'll see if we like it too, because we love beer. In like a healthy way, not in like a we're alcoholics
Beer
way.
nuts.
Please drink responsibly. But I stream on Thursdays with my brothers.
Mongoose omelet.
Mongoose Omelet. Yeah, you can go there, twitch.tv/tube crazed, TUBE.
No,
See-
you put a little too much emphasis on the buh. It's
Tube.
tube crazed.
Tube
Not
crazed.
tuba crazed.
Tuba
crazed.
I mean, oh man, if I tried to get that one, but I couldn't.
Oh, someone already had that?
Somebody had that one already.
You should pay money to get it.
I don't want to pay anyone. I barely have enough money as it is to exist. But every Thursday, twitch.tv/tube crazed. Yeah. I'm going to try and play like some other stuff soon. I feel like with this fancy soundboard I have now, I feel like I want to like do other games and stuff. Maybe me and
Be good for like
yeah,
dating sims.
that would be good. Wow. Wait, I don't have to. I can just. There we go. That's from Fairy Tale anime I like. But anyway, Chris, do you have anything you want to plug? Any new cool things coming up?
Not right now.
Not right now.
I think
Listen, if something comes up, he's gonna post it in the Discord.
it's gonna be epic.
It's gonna be crazy. All right. So, with that being said, I think that's it.
I think
Is there
so.
anything else I missed? Okay, great. So with that, we're gonna end the podcast the way we always end the podcast, which is by saying good night,
Night,
everybody.